Folks, January 1973, I remember very distinctly, we had coal mines in India and they got nationalized. The government took over. And right from being a mine owner, we came on the street. Street means street. We had 1,000 people working. My father had died when I just about finished college. We were left with the liabilities and the assets were gone. And I was just married 4 weeks then. Some of you are calculating my age, but that's your problem. But folks, I saw my life change. We started selling little things to get money for food. We started selling furniture. I remember a year later, my daughter was born, and I sold some of the last pieces of my mother's jewelry to get released from the hospital. Did not have $10 to buy milk that night. I tried my hands on 3 businesses with no money, and I failed in all 3. Finally, November 13, 1975, I decided to leave India. My sister sponsored me from Canada, went to Toronto, rented a 1-bedroom apartment. We were sleeping on the floor. We had no furniture. My wife is an MBA. She took up a job as a cashier at a bank at $600 a month to keep money coming in for food. And I used to go out wearing my suit and my tie, doing nothing. And when people asked me, what do you do for a living? I was embarrassed to tell them I am unemployed. I used to say, I do import, export. Now, don't get me wrong, I tried. Went on like this for a year. Now, just about that time, after a year, I was going through a trade show and a young Canadian was following me from behind, looked like a handyman, came close, asked my name, and he asked me, what do you do for a living? I said, import, export. And he asked me, how much money do you make? Now, I did give him a rather flat answer. I said, that's none of your business. But that day, it got me thinking, it doesn't matter how many suits and ties you wear, people can tell you got nothing inside. Well, I asked him, his name was Bill Weir, and I said, what do you do for a living? He said, I simonize cars. Now, folks, people who don't know what simonizing is, it's a glorified word for washing cars with the machines, that's all. Well, I asked him, how much money do you make? He says sometimes $25, $30, $45, $55, depending on the number of cars I wash. As we went out of the auditorium, as if he could read my mind, right outside he stopped me, looked into the eye, and he asked me, would you like to wash cars with me? I started thinking, how long can I go like this? I got nothing to eat. I asked him, what will you pay me? He said, I'll take off $5 for the chemicals, rest we will split half. I said, when do we start? He said, tomorrow. I asked him, I said, Bill, washing cars is not high tech. You're doing well by yourself. You don't need a joint venture collaboration. Why do you want to split money with me? He said, Shiv, washing cars alone can get very lonely. I just need somebody to talk to, that's all. Well, next day went out washing cars. We made $25 each. The day after, 45, 25, 55. Every day started making a little money, and I started buying things for the home. And right about that time, I saw an ad in the newspaper. You want to make some extra money, do the door-to-door demos for vacuum cleaners. I'm sure you must have seen those. I responded to the ad. There were a couple of 100 people. They gave us a pep talk, and they said, go do the demo. And every demo you do, you get paid $5. Folks, I was genuinely naive. I actually believed we only had to do the demo and not to sell. So I used to go to an apartment building, knock a door. When the lady or the man used to open, I used to say, ma'am, you don't have to buy the vacuum cleaner. All that you got to do is take a demo and I'll get paid $5. So some people took pity on me, let me come in. Some people kicked me out and some people slammed the door, and that was fine. One day, I was doing a demo in an Indian family's home. And the man and woman were sitting on the sofa and I was on the floor. And this man, instead of looking at the vacuum cleaner, he kept looking at me all the time. So I asked him, "Sir, did I do something wrong?" He said, "No." I said, "Then why do you look at me this way?" He asked me, "Shiv, have you ever sold life insurance?" I said, "No, I have never sold life insurance. And besides, I never will. Because I remember back home in India, that agent, that pest, who would not leave your life for 3 hours till you signed the application." I said, "No wonder they call them life insurance agents, because they don't leave your life." Well, I said, "I will never be that pest in my life." He said, "No, Shiv, it doesn't work that way here. Look at me. I'm a life insurance agent. Look at my lifestyle. I drive a Lincoln." Later on, I came to know he was working for MetLife, and they had a recruitment drive going on. If you recruited a new salesperson, you would get a Samsonite briefcase. So I was the briefcase. Well, folks, I finished the demo and I left, but when you cannot go straight, you go the other way around. We were living in the same building, and somehow his wife became friendly with my wife and convinced her that selling life insurance was the right thing to do. And my wife also knew we couldn't go through life washing cars. We had to do something different. I had a family to support our little daughter, and my wife also knew my failure record in life was pretty good. Even in school, I wasn't the brightest kid. I was the backbencher troubling the front benchers. In my 8th grade, out of 6 or 7 subjects, I failed in all except one. So my principal called me and said, "Shiv, you're paying too much attention on one subject." Well, folks, out of 28 kids, I was number 27 because the 28th was absent. No kidding. My principal used to call my parents and tell them, "Get this kid out of the school. He's one kid who's going to bring the average of the school." Well, I was bringing the average down. I told my wife I'm not selling life insurance. She said, "Shiv, to sell life insurance, you got to take an exam. Why don't you take the exam, and if you pass, you have a choice. Right now, you have no choice." I said, "All right, I'll take the exam, but I won't sell." Folks, I took the exam, and guess what? I passed. Well, this guy who's got everything rolling took me to his office, introduced me to his district manager, who was a very sharp elderly man by the name of Joe Bonney, and he said, "Shiv, if you decide to become life insurance agent right now, I'll give you a draw of $150 a week, and I'll give you time to think before I withdraw the offer." He said, "You got 30 seconds to decide." I said, "Joe, you said you'll give me time to think." He said, "You have 20 left now." I said, "I'll take it." And now I became a life insurance agent, which I never in my life ever wanted to be. Now, they gave me the book, they gave me a little training, and they said, "Boy, go sell." And folks, for the next 3 months, I went out selling. I put in 100%. Why 100%? I actually put in 200%. We all can tell when we've done our best. We all can tell when we've not done our best. I can look at the mirror and say, I did my best. And guess what? I broke the company's record.